And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Schmoes Show. I'm your host, the infamous Orion, and I am, last I checked, a schmo.
I'm Cairo, and I also, last I checked, am a schmo. Let me get a pulse check. Yes, I
Yes?
am.
Awesome.
Yep. Got
Baller.
worried there for a sec.
Can't have any non-schmoes on here.
No. Wouldn't work.
No.
Oh
So,
boy. Do we
yeah.
have. Whew,
You go off for a week and all of a sudden the news starts happening again.
yeah. They
Uh,
did it. I
they...
can't believe they did it.
What'd they do? I need to know which one you're referring to.
They made the Switch Pro.
Oh, that? I don't
Uh,
even know what to
it's
call
so
that.
bo- it's so boring. Let me pull this shit up. I love that they made like a whole ad for it, and it's just like, yup, it's very slightly better. And in worse in some ways.
Nintendo, can we have a Switch Pro? We have a Switch Pro at home. The Switch Pro at home.
I
So this
don't
morning,
even need to look up the changes. This is hilarious. So OLED screen, yeah.
yes. What's an
So
OLED?
we're finally at first gen Vita quality of screens. It's taken them that long. So we have OLED screen. The kickstand in the back is copied from the Microsoft Surface. So good job, Nintendo. You did the right thing and copied someone who actually knows what they're doing. There's a new dock with an Ethernet port, which is neat, I guess, but it replaces the USB port that was on the back. So if
Yeah.
you're like me and you actually use that USB port, get fucked.
You know what? Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't just sell the dock with the Ethernet port on there.
Right? Well, I don't get why don't they just make like a first party USB to Ethernet adapter and just sell that?
Because they don't like money.
Apparently not. Um, and the screen is slightly bigger.
It's
I
like,
think it's like they got rid of some of the bezel, so it looks slightly bigger.
yes.
And the speakers are apparently better, but you'll have to like wait and actually use. How many people actually use the speakers on the Switch that often? I'd be curious to know that.
I don't.
I don't. If I have it plugged into the dock, the sound's going to come either to my headphones or my TV. And
Yeah.
if I'm using it on the go, I have headphones with me because I don't want to be that asshole that has to have everybody else listen to what I'm doing.
You just want everybody listening to your Hatsune Miku gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Ah. Papa Nintendo. Thank you. Okay,
Coming October 8th,
yes.
I think. I don't even know. I wasn't paying attention at that part. I was so bored.
Can I just say this?
Oh yeah.
You know they knew it was underwhelming because they didn't show it off at E3 literally a month ago.
Yes. I was thinking the exact same. They knew how much worse it would be if they did it then.
Everybody thought it would be coming then. I don't know. I have to applaud them for that strategic marketing
Oh yeah.
because
I mean, it makes sense, you
yeah.
know.
I like its paint scheme.
Yeah, it does look clean. It's
Yeah.
nice. Having the different colored dock is a nice touch.
I can't wait to see the 4chan post of people playing that with like Dorito fingers. So now there's like
Oh yeah.
permanent orange stains on that.
Hmm.
That will be beautiful. Man, I love how we dismantled the hype for that thing and now this is what comes out.
Yeah. Honestly, they knew it was gonna happen. Anybody who thought they were gonna get a 4K screen was kidding themselves. It's not gonna happen.
There's no reason. It'd be too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Like right now, so the Switch screen is 1080p, I think. And a lot of what it uses is closer to like 720 and either upscaled or processing stuff done to it so it plays right. Um, which makes sense, you know? I mean, it's a small portable device. You're only going to be able to get so much out of it, but unless they went with like a major, like a full generational change for the internals of it to make it run better, you're never going to get 4K out of a screen like that.
No.
You mean you can put a 4K screen on it, but you're never going to get games to run at 4K if you can barely get them to run at 1080 as is.
Yeah, it's it's such a shit show.
I will say though, I did clown a bit right there with the Vita jab because literally the first gen Vita had an OLED screen, but with the second gen they got rid of it to cut costs.
Yeah.
Having an OLED screen actually does kind of matter, and it is cool. I'm glad they're doing that. It's going to look a lot better than the screen they have right now, and that was one of the major selling points on the Vita originally was that it had such a good sharp screen.
What is an OLED screen?
Okay, so OLED is short for organic LED, and
Okay.
it's instead of it being um, a manufactured LED, it uses it's sort of in the same way that older screens would with like phosphors and CRTs. It uses organic materials that emit the light rather than inorganic ones. Produced or not produced, processed ones. So what it means is that when it's off, because it's organic, it's able to get to a much deeper black to it effectively being off entirely. So you get deeper blacks when you have the contrast between the pixels is a lot better. There's less bleed through between them. So it just ends up with being a much more crisp look to it. It looks just kind of better. It's one of the things
Interesting.
that you need for like HDR type stuff to get that wide range of colors.
Mm-hmm.
When you have traditional screens, you can only turn them so far off, so you end up with black being more like a really dark gray compared to true black. And with
Oh.
these, it should be a lot better for that.
Oh snap.
So it is genuinely, it's a cool thing. It's a good thing, but
Who
it's
asked
it's
for
also
this?
kind of yeah, right.
I'm sorry.
That's the
Like,
main thing. It's like it's Nintendo's doing their magic
do you
and
want like
giving things no one asked for.
I can kind of understand like if you don't have a Switch yet, I guess that's what you go for now, but
Yeah.
who doesn't have a Switch yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to bring anyone in that wasn't already brought in. If you weren't buying a Switch before, an OLED screen isn't going to be what pushes you over the edge.
No, I don't think so either. Like at that point they might as well just put it on the Switch Lite since
Yeah.
if you're going to use the OLED that implies you're going to use the handheld more often.
Maybe. I'm not sure what the Switch Lite actually has. OLEDs tend to be a bit more energy intensive
Yeah.
just because I don't know. So I don't know.
I don't know
It
either.
could, 1-to-1. The Switch Lite is meant to be, sort of their budget one. So putting the more expensive screen on it might not quite work, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I was hoping that they would announce that they're going to have like Joy-Con 2.0 or something like that.
I was expecting that as well.
Not having any upgrades on the Joy-Cons with as many problems as they're known to have is just kind of unfortunate.
Unfortunate's a word.
Yeah. I'm
Neglectful
thankful
is
enough that I
also a
haven't had
word.
any. Yeah, I haven't had any problems with mine yet, but I don't use my Switch that much. So, yeah.
Um, I don't mind my Joy Cons. I don't like how they feel compared to a traditional controller, which is
Oh, yeah.
why
No,
I
I agree
often play
completely.
docked. Yeah,
Yep.
but
Yep.
hey, I really want a pair of those white ones because it looks fucking baller.
They do. It looks really clean.
It really does. I remember I showed my girlfriend a picture of it, and she's like, "I really don't know what they could have done different to this thing."
You can't. You have to have like a generational change.
Yeah, the
They've
Switch
done
2.
all that they can. I'm gonna pull up some pictures here.
Oh my gosh, when they do the sequel to the
Switch
Switch, can we call it the Switcheroo?
The change was hilarious. Somebody sent me a link to the Nintendo webpage for the new Switch.
Yeah.
And Google on my Chrome on my phone flagged it as a malicious website. It wouldn't let me open it.
That's hilarious.
So what does a Switch cost? Is this a price increase?
What do you mean for the OLED?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, the OLED's like
Wow.
$50 more.
See, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah,
If it was the same price, sure. But having it be $50 more is just not the right move.
you know what I love about this Switch commercial?
What's that?
That they're clearly showing like green screened on footage onto the OLED.
I thought the same too.
Because I like how
Wait,
everything's
don't you always sit in your coat room and just play Pokemon in the middle of the hallway?
yes, I'm that sad.
Yes.
But no, like this photo I just showed of the
Yeah,
the
it's
link.
bad.
Yeah, you can see it's like more compressed in the middle compared to like everything else.
Yeah. No, it's not good. I I don't
Party
know.
foul,
One thing, all
Nintendo.
right, we missed a point here.
What?
It now has 64 gigs of internal storage,
Woot.
which I could see that like that alone. What does the regular Switch have? Because it doesn't have a ton,
Is it like 30? I think it's
but it has
32.
something. That sounds right. If I'm gonna have it on their webpage here. Nope. Let me compare features. Thank you. Like you'd think they would have a really quick. It's 32. Yeah. Which I guess you could have an argument for that given that maybe now you don't have to buy an external card to store on it with if you buy cartridges mostly. But
I'm going to argue on Amazon you can get 512 micro SD card
yeah.
for $36.98 right now.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to do it. The screen is definitely bigger and it's gonna look better. If I see one on sale, I could see myself trading in my Switch for the what do they even call it?
An
The
OLED.
OLED model. They don't even call it the Switch Pro. I guess
Yeah.
that's good. If they did, they'd get even more shit. I could see myself doing it because it is going to make things like if you're watching like YouTube or if you're streaming anything on it, it is definitely going to look better.
Very
I
acute
just
point.
I don't know how much they're going to be able to use that though to their advantage. I'd also, and I don't actually know if this is the case. I would be very curious to know if the old docks work with the new one. Because like I
Ooh.
legitimately I use the back USB port. Like they still have the USB ports on the side, but I have a little audio extractor so I can use the same headphones that go to my desktop with my Switch when it's docked.
Yeah.
And that needs a USB port to run power off of it. So I just have that plugged straight into the back of the Switch and it's no problem. If that goes away and there's just an Ethernet jack back there, I'm kind of screwed. It should work fine. It's still just a USB-C, but I don't know. I would hate for it, because if the new docks are slightly bigger, because the screen's bigger, it would really suck to have scratches on like the brand new screen because the old dock's slightly smaller, so it doesn't quite fit right.
They'd probably do that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah. Consumerism. Thy name is capitalism.
I also think it's really shitty on their part. If you look at their promotional shots, all of the old Nintendo Switches have their like original color scheme, which has a black background, compared to the new OLED one that is all bright primary colors and no black, so it looks just in the pictures brighter, even though that's not at all how any of this works.
Oh, I know. So, what else happened?
What else happened? Do you want to talk about Loki? I want to talk about Loki.
You really want to avoid the environmental disaster that we had over the weekend.
I don't want to avoid it, but man,
I know.
it's depressing.
There was
First
smoke on
time
the
in
water.
Yeah. It was some pretty incredible pictures. Give him that.
I found this over the weekend.
Nice.
What I just sent, ladies and gentlemen, was a Charmin bear dressed as Thor with a millimeter toilet paper handle, and it says
Yes.
we've always been an Asgardian.
Yes.
That's real, by the way.
Oh, I believe it.
The Charmin bear is no subtlety.
But we can do the Gulf Fire though. I mean, it is pretty. I don't know. It's a good piece to throw around because it's striking imagery compared to events that have happened in the past. It's really not that bad, That
Yeah.
makes sense. Like compared to the BP spill, say, nowhere near the same scale. This one's just getting a bunch of attention because it's like, oh wow, the ocean is literally on fire.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you
It's
want to get
very
people,
striking.
you give. Yeah, it's visually one of the most
Yeah.
impressive things I've ever seen in my life.
Hmm. I thought it was particularly hilarious how, like the 2 days after, you had Zuckerberg posting a video of himself surfing off the coast of Hawaii or whatever it was on his dumb fucking whatever board. It's just like the ocean is literally burning and the billionaires are surfing on its corpse.
Yeah, dude, don't you know billionaires aren't qualified as citizens anymore? At least we know there's no like secret Godzilla monster in the ocean anymore because they would have totally attacked
Yeah.
at that.
Oh yeah. It's the sign.
It's the sign. The humans have come for war.
But Loki. We got
Loki.
2 episodes to go through. It's
Yes.
huge. So I would like to start off by saying I totally called it.
You called what?
That they were going to the TVA through the portal. That was their plan, was to use all of what she was doing as a distraction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did call that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I have more bold predictions for the future.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
We'll get to them. Gotta keep the timeline in the right order.
That doesn't get matter anymore.
But I really, so we'll start with episode 3.
Yes.
All right, we'll start there. We'll go from there. I rewatched episode 3 like 3 times
Why?
because I love the visuals in it.
If
They did such a good job.
I'm going to be honest, man, I didn't care for episode 3 that much.
I didn't really care for the episode itself. I just loved the CGI work they did.
Okay, yeah. I love the visuals of that planet.
Yeah. Yep. The visual that they have towards the end of it with the planet that's crashing in, splitting in half
Yeah.
as pieces like are exploded out of it. I was blown away by that. It was just cool. It's cool shit. The actual meat of the story of that episode wasn't particularly good, but we did get some important exposition.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the falling action of the climax of the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know that all of the TVA are variants.
I will say this as well.
Mhm.
Episode 3 did teach me to have a more thorough appreciation of the music,
Yes.
especially when they have Loki singing like an Asgardian song and it sounds like a Norwegian folk song.
Yes.
That I loved.
It's so well done. All
Yeah.
of the sound design is just so well done for this. I'm just constantly struck by it. The choice, okay, I don't know if this is true because I can't be fucked to go back and watch every single piece of Marvel content ever, but I can't remember another instance where a Marvel Studios piece opened with the typical Marvel cinematic and a piece of music played that is not a Marvel original piece.
Wait, what was the piece that? Okay, what are you
They
referencing?
played the at the start of episode 3, rather than it playing the Marvel theme, the Avengers theme,
Yeah.
it plays the music that is playing in the club that it opens on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's the first time that that's happened, but it stood out to me because at the very least, it very rarely happens.
I think they did that with Doctor Strange.
I could see that, but it stood out to me as, sort of like an audio storytelling of how this is like, we're not in Marvel right now. We're somewhere else compared to the rest of them that have all opened with some variation of the Marvel theme
True.
or an original theme, at least.
I really want to go back and rewatch Loki and just listen to the music. Because I'm always picking up these like little things in the music that I really just want to go back and digest fully without having to worry about the story.
Mhm.
Such as like I really like how they incorporate the Asgardian Norwegian folktale elements to the Loki soundtrack. Because you hear like these little tunes throughout it, and it works so well.
One thing that I need to figure out what the names of these pieces are. Let me see if I can find it. Loki score. Maybe that'll help.
Well, they used a theremin.
Um, yes, but they of course did. But between the theremin and the use of a metronome in the themes and the scores that they have, it it just works
Yeah.
really well, particularly in like the main sort of. I don't even know what it's called. I want to figure out what the hell it's called, but I don't know.
There's a whole
Music.
Wikipedia page
Oh
of
wow,
the
there's a
music.
whole soundtrack.
Oh, there's a whole Wikipedia page of all the songs used in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't doubt it. I'm sure it's very long.
It is. I'm looking at it right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would have to go through these and like actually listen to it. Oh, apparently the song that Loki sings is called Very Full.
Why is it called Very Full?
I don't know.
Hmm.
That just must be what it translates to. It's Very Full featuring Tom Hiddleston, so I would presume that it's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find some of these. Just Loki. I mean, just let's see if YouTube will be my friend.
Oh,
Someone has a playlist.
it's a actual drinking song by a Norwegian author.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Very interesting. Anything else from episode 3 you want to highlight?
Um, Trying to skim through it now in my head. We have no, not really. Like it's very much um exposition for the characters themselves. We do get some more because this is like really the first time we've actually had dialogue with Sylvie in any meaningful way, so we learn a lot about her and her character, which is fun.
One thing I
But other than that, there's not a ton.
so can we just get to like the whole like ending of the episode kind of thing that leads to episode 4? Because
Mm-hmm.
I want to point this out. At the beginning of episode 3, I asked myself, how different does Loki have to be from a variant of himself before he can bang himself, and then if it would qualify as actual sex or masturbation?
We're figuring out.
Yeah, because that's how the episode actually pretty much ends.
Basically, I really enjoyed their use of is it Dark Moon? I think that's what it's just called.
What? Dark
I'll
Moon.
figure it out. The piece that they have at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie guitar, Dark Moon. It's a great piece to end on. It fits the tone so well, and I love that shot at the end where you have this huge chunk of planet that just comes through and destroys the evacuation ship. And as soon as that happens, everybody just stands dead still and it goes quiet, and everybody just stares at it because there's like a planet full of people that all have the exact same one goal, and just boom,
Gone.
everybody has nothing now. Gone.
Yes.
Everybody just stops. And it's so there's been a lot of situations like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier when I can't remember his name. Because they call him by his like character name, not his real name. Where the new Captain America's sidekick guy gets thrown up against the wall and dies, where everybody just like stops and is like, oh shit, what happened? That didn't feel particularly realistic to me because like these guys are all soldiers for the most part. Death is something that they don't really expect to happen to themselves, but that they are still familiar with. Whereas these are like just people, and they have that moment where they all basically are forced to just be like, well, we're dead now. And having it close on with Dark Moon, which is literally what they're on now, a moon that's about to go dark, is just very fitting. A
It
great
is very
choice.
fitting. But
And we have episode 4.
yes, which pretty much opens on what I think is the funniest joke in the whole series. You're such a big narcissist that you literally fell in love with yourself.
Yeah. Which is true, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
entirely.
Yeah. I do want to say, though, before we get too far into it, episode 3 is when I had started having the thoughts of we now know that all of the TVA agents are variants. Yeah?
Yes.
So that begs the question then, if they're variants, where do they come from?
Like, they were probably just variations that. Well, okay. My personal
But
theory.
if they're variants, that means they were in their own timelines at some point, and they had to go from being in their timelines to being a variant to then working at the TVA. There's some step in the middle there where that has to happen, because if that isn't there, either they aren't variants in the first place, or there's that has to be there. And I
Yeah.
think that the time reset things aren't actually time reset things.
Go on.
To me, the only thing that makes sense is either the TVA would have to have been radically different at one point, which doesn't seem to be the case. It has the appearance, at least, of having always been this way. Or when somebody is, I don't remember what they call it, when someone is destroyed by their little light stick things, they're not actually destroyed. They're more being sent somewhere else to be repurposed by the timekeepers for their own purposes.
Oh,
So
that
my
just
thought is that
kills
the
it.
little light stick things
Yeah.
don't actually kill people. It more resets them or wipes them or something like that. And it has the appearance of doing that. So I think episode 5 is likely to open on, well, we'll get to that. But was what I came into with episode 3 is like, okay, if they're all variants, they have to come from somewhere. How do they get from point A to point B and not remember where they were?
Yes.
And that's like the only common factor. If all the variants get killed, and they all get killed by the same way, doesn't leave a lot of options.
My idea was they talk about that multiversal war, right?
Yes.
I don't think there was a multiversal war as much as it was whoever is behind the TVA cleaning up shop, trying to make everything all uniform. And while they're cleaning up shop, they're pretty much taking all these different multiverses of people and just putting them in the TVA to be repurposed.
I think that's a very fair guess.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
That yeah, but yours is also a really good guess as well. If I had to guess,
So
it's one of ours.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Or maybe even both.
Ooh, yeah.
Or neither, and we're both idiots.
When aren't we idiots?
Very rarely. All right, episode 4. So to note though, episode 4 starts with a heart-to-heart between Loki and Sylvie as they're expecting the planet to be destroyed.
Yes.
And just before it does, they, for the first time, make contact with each other, physical contact, and it apparently causes such a disruption to the timeline, 2 variants making physical contact with one another, that the TVA is able to pinpoint where they are on the timeline, even though they're like at the apex of an apocalypse, and they're able to find them
Yes.
and drag them out and take them back to the TVA.
It makes you wonder if 2 variants touching like that could cause such a differentiation where literally it's going to set to 0 here in a second. What could cause that to not set to 0?
Yep. And what would happen if it doesn't get stopped?
Yes. I don't know.
All right, episode 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We get sort of the completion in a way of Mobius's. That's gonna be confusing because we're gonna have Mobius and Morbius here soon in the common lexicon. That's unfortunate. Mobius has sort of his arc, as we know it at least,
Fulfilled.
come full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. Go on.
no, go ahead.
For me, it was. You remember how we said episode 2 was the end of Act 1?
Yep.
This is the end of Act 2.
Yes, it is.
This is really well paced, like a movie.
It is.
I wouldn't be surprised if this started out as a movie.
I wouldn't be either. I could totally see them going through like script writing things and being like, this and WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, these are great ideas. We want to do them. We can't get this to under 3 hours, so we can't do it as a movie. What are our options?
Yes. Also,
Would make a ton of sense.
I want to point something out, by the way, because I
What's
had
that?
this thought in the shower today, right? This
Hmm.
is going to derail incredibly, but it's all going to be to make a point.
Okay.
So, remember in Endgame when Thanos jumps from 2014 to 2023 to like go get the
Yeah, yeah.
stones? That makes that Thanos a variant, right?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so because they do mention specifically that the Avengers time travel shenanigans were allowed per se.
They were allowed. The
So I would
Avengers.
assume that encompasses all of those events are the intended flow of time.
Okay, because for me, I wasn't exactly certain about that. For
Yeah.
me, because that just means he's displacing himself out of his timeline, causing that timeline to fracture off.
Yep. And I guess that would be the question as to whether a variant is um someone that's supposed to follow their individual flow of time or the overall flow of time. And as long as the overall flow of time is fine, whatever that individual does doesn't really matter.
Well, what I was about to suggest was we know Loki takes place around 2012 because that's where he runs away
Mhm.
from, right?
Yep.
What if at the point where Loki just we're assuming the TVA dies off at the end of this, correct?
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be what they're coming around to.
Yeah. So when Loki in 2012 causes all this stuff, where it allows a moment after 2012 to really start splitting off from the main timeline.
Hmm.
So like where 2012 after the Avengers incident is the main fracture point where everything can start changing.
Yep.
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
propose as a
I think that's
theory.
fair.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say because the TVA clearly doesn't work in a linear fashion.
No,
They're able to jump around. So I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think for like storytelling purposes, that would make sense. I think it would make a lot of sense for them to sort of lean into that happening of like the TVA is gone now, so these kinds of variations start to happen more
Yes.
visibly and frequently, and leading to the events that we're going to see. So I could see them starting that sort of after the Endgame events. I think that would make sense.
For me, I also want to assume Marvel What If, the animated series that's coming out after this,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be what the variations are now that the timeline's allowed to have variations and fracturing,
Yep.
which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But back to episode 4.
Episode 4, Loki and Sylvie get captured again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have sort of two major moving parts. Mobius interrogates Loki about what happened between him and Sylvie on the whatever the hell the dead moon is called.
Yeah.
Loki kind of doesn't say anything. He does sort of give that bit that Sylvie told him about how all of the TVA agents are variants, and that makes Mobius clearly start to think it through, and he gives off a very sort of like "you almost had me" kind of answer,
Yeah.
but he clearly is still thinking it through. It's still stuck in his head because it cuts to a scene between him and
Ravonna?
I'm gonna pull up the cast list because I'm gonna miss it. Is that what her name is?
I want to say so, but I'm terrible with
Is casting
names.
characters. Um, Ravonna, yes. Ravonna Renslayer. Cuts to a scene between Ravonna and Mobius when they're talking about, sort of celebrating, I guess, the closing of the Loki variant case. At which point it is revealed that the Timekeepers have decreed that Sylvie and the variant Loki are both to be brought before them to be basically murdered. And as a part of that, Mobius has been invited to also attend, which is given the implication that this would be the first time that he himself has actually seen the Timekeepers, or this would be the first time he's ever seen the Timekeepers.
Yes.
We also get the piece where they start to close out the Hunter C-20, I think is what it was. Hunter C-20 and her sort of story, I guess you could say. She was the TVA agent who Sylvie captured back in episode 2 and sort of enchanted, I guess would be the word for it, enchanted into giving away the location of the TVA and from that, the Timekeepers and how to get there. We learn from Ravonna that she died as a result of the enchantment that Sylvie did on her. That clearly doesn't sit well with Mobius, and he still looks quite distraught and confused over it as he's mulling things through. And eventually, we see him pull some sleight of hand, I guess you could say, and he steals Ravonna's little tempad thing, little time door thing.
Yes, the tempad.
Yes. After that, we actually cut to Hunter B-15, who is the TVA agent who part split off in the supermarket back in episode 2 with Loki and was also enchanted by Sylvie. She is sort of still heading up the point of operations for Sylvie's protection, and she has started to show some cracks in her facade, I guess you could say. She's acting not quite normally. And she ends up going into Sylvie's sort of chamber where she is, opens a door, and basically tells Sylvie to go through it. At which point she confronts Sylvie at the supermarket again outside, in an apocalypse. And basically, we are given the acknowledgement that Hunter B-15, because she was enchanted, Sylvie had to dig memories up from before she was a TVA agent and basically question Sylvie as to, what the hell was that kind of deal.
Yes.
So clearly, her whatever mind blanking that was done to her has been undone by what Sylvie did. And there's actually quite a good scene with that. I enjoyed that scene. That is sort of Sylvie going through and showing her past. I thought that was very well done.
I kind of wish there was something to like add a little more character to her when she does like come back into that, but
I agree. But I personally felt like just the acting that she did.
Oh yeah, it was powerful.
Was quite good.
Yeah,
it was very powerful. Yeah, it's a great way of putting it. And they could have done a bit more, but for what they had, I was very satisfied with them closing that arc how they did.
You know what that would have killed me, and I was really hoping, like if she said something along the lines of like, "Oh, I miss my daughter," or "Oh, I miss my son."
Yeah,
the idea that
would have been. I do think though that just her, I will happy.
Yeah,
was fitting.
Yeah,
it
is. Yeah,
gives the viewer their own way of imprinting on it however they want. It's very relatable.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very good scene.
It also clearly gives the implication that she is not happy or hasn't been happy and maybe didn't even realize it with what she's currently doing.
Fair enough. Good point.
Yeah. Okay, after that, we have Mobius, who is now looking through Ravonna's tempad and comes across a sort of interrogation debriefing, I think is what they have on it. The debriefing of Hunter C-20 after she was brought back into the TVA. And she makes the clear statement that everyone's a variant. All of the TVA agents are variants. And when that happens, Ravonna steps in and the recording cuts out, and we get the pretty clear implication that she didn't die from her injuries as so much her injuries required her to be made dead.
Yes.
So, following that, Mobius goes back to Loki and starts to basically try to break him out. Pulls him out of the little time prison that they had him held in, which I thought was quite interesting. It was a good little, for what it was a nice character development for Loki, given that it was all happening sort of inside his own head. But it made a lot of sense.
I like how they brought Sif back, 'cause I can't remember the last time we saw her.
Yeah, she was like the only good character of Thor's friends,
Yeah, she was good.
Because she had character.
Yeah. I actually found out apparently that scene with Sif and Loki is actually based off an actual Nordic myth. So
really?
Yeah.
I enjoyed how it ended, in a way, it ended with Loki sort of coming to his own realization of, his genuine apology to her for what he did,
Yes.
um, as well as his sort of like self-reflection of, you will always be alone, except now maybe he doesn't have to be because he's found in a literal way himself.
Ooh. And speaking of himself, we'll save that for the end.
Yeah.
Can we talk
Yeah,
about the
so then
timekeepers? Oh,
almost.
yep.
So
Okay.
Morbius breaks Loki out.
Yep.
Ravonna has clearly found in this time that Mobius took her tempad, confronts him there, and zaps him with their little glow stick, presumably killing him.
Pew.
Pew
Okay.
pew. After
I
after that.
wait.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to give credit to the line of saying, "I don't know who I was before. Maybe I had a jet
Mhm.
ski."
Yeah.
That
Great.
it killed me. It killed me.
Yes.
My girlfriend called that line like, okay, when Mobius found out that he's a variant, she's like, "Do you think he had a jet ski in his normal life?"
Mm-hmm.
She called
Yeah.
that. She called that
Oh yeah.
immediately. Yeah. Poor man.
Yeah.
Get that guy a jet ski.
So Loki and Sylvie are brought before the Timekeepers by Ravonna.
I love the design of the timekeepers.
I will say, I found it designs, yes. The actual audio, I wish they had made slightly clearer
Yes.
because I could not understand almost a word of what they were saying, even though you were clearly supposed to.
The funny thing is, my girlfriend likes to watch things on Disney Plus with subtitles. I don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
for this
I don't
episode
either.
and this episode only, I decided to let them just stay on before we even got that far because we were just too lazy to turn them off. And I
Yeah.
was so glad we had them on when the timekeepers came on.
Yeah. Clearly very alien looking, speaking in English, so I get it, but it's just like, what? I actually backed it up more than once because I was just like, what? What did you say?
I was really disappointed that we didn't get better looks at them because they looked like really good puppets.
They did. They were really well made and thought out.
Yeah.
So yeah, spoiler. There's a big fight where Loki and Sylvie break out. Hunter B-15 breaks in and turns off their time collar things, and the big fight ensues. Loki and Sylvie win. Sylvie throws her sword at one of the timekeepers, cuts off its head, and it's an animatronic.
Yes. So who's behind all this?
Yeah. Begs the question. So they start to have that conversation, and Loki, with his realization that he doesn't want to be alone and that he is alone, starts to at least seem to make some sort of confession to Sylvie, and Ravonna zaps him.
Pew.
Pew pew. Oh, and also I forgot to mention this. At the very start of the episode, we get the reveal that Sylvie was on Asgard,
Yes.
at one point at least, living a life very similar to what Loki's was, and is taken by the TVA at a young age, in the process by Ravonna. So Ravonna is the TVA agent that took Sylvie away from her life as a child.
Yes. Which is kind
So
of
there's a there's a deep connection between the two of the two characters.
yes, which I kind of love.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
And it also really addresses kind of a hypocrisy in Ravonna because we have to assume she's a variant as well.
Yes. One would assume at least, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their theory. I suspect she has a little more to do with the TVA than she lets on. Because she didn't
I
seem
would
quite
assume
surprised
that-
about the timekeepers.
Yep. I would assume that there has to be something where at a certain point, because she clearly was sort of at like a more of a grunt level and worked her way up through the TVA through promotions.
Yes,
During that process, she must have learned something.
she had to.
So Ravonna zaps Loki. There's another shorter fight between Sylvie and Ravonna. Sylvie wins, and it ends on Sylvie telling Ravonna to tell her everything. Two credits.
And then we have only 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the after credits?
The actor credit? No, I didn't.
There's an after credit scene. I can't believe you missed that.
Seriously?
Yes, and it's kind of a big after credit scene.
Give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can pull this up on my computer here.
Yeah.
Can I play Disney Plus in a browser? We will find out.
Is this it? I think I found it. Like on YouTube.
Marvel Loki. Oh god, this runs like shit. But it is running.
Oh, wait, what? Um, okay.
Okay, I'm watching it now.
Are you?
Yes, I am. I think I see what you mean though. In the little preview bit.
Oh, yes.
But I was at work when I watched this, so it wasn't exactly okay. I called it. Get fucked, everyone else.
I thought that's why you were like,
No, I hadn't seen this.
oh my god. First react. We're now a reaction channel, everybody.
Neat.
Yes. What do
Oh,
you
yeah,
feel?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I am here for Loki Crocodile.
It's alligator Loki, dude.
My apologies.
Yeah, check the snout. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely adore the idea of an alligator Loki.
Yeah.
But
no, I totally didn't know that. So I fucking called it.
Yeah, you did.
I guess we'll find out. Well, right, because we still have that scene where it has Loki in like some supermarket or some shit that's not the one they were already in. So that's got to happen.
And there's going to be vote for Loki.
Yeah.
So here's my idea of what I think is going to happen, right? I think we are going to get these Lokis pretty much trying to get our main Loki out of wherever they are, this limbo.
Yep.
And Loki's going to have to devise this big scheme to break all time.
Yep.
Cause a Nexus event that they can't correct.
I would guess that it's probably going to be somewhat anticlimactic, where it'll probably just be Loki and Sylvie trying to get back to each other, and it'll just end with them like their hands meeting, and something will happen, and it'll be cut to black, end of the series.
No, my idea is that Sylvie's probably going to be with the big bad and all that, trying to beat the big bad that's behind the TVA. I have my own ideas about who's behind the TVA, but
yes,
I think Loki's big Nexus world-breaking event would be to run for president and to win. Because tell me he wouldn't make a good trickster politician.
Oh, he would.
Yes. And
I hope they don't do a Romeo and Juliet, you know?
Oh, please don't.
Like, oh my god, Loki is dead. I'm gonna be reckless and get myself killed. And then Loki comes out, oh no, she's dead. I'm gonna kill myself.
No, but I do like the idea that Loki's idea to break the time, like, variance authority is to run for president, cause a great Nexus event.
Yep.
Nothing can fix it. So the TVA pretty much has to dissolve because it's going into total chaos, which pretty much launches the multiverse of madness.
I don't know. I don't think so. I guess it'll depend where he is, you know?
I also
president of what?
Good question. We assume in the United States, but
yeah. But we also have to assume that he's not on Earth anymore, or not on a normal Earth if there's already multiple Lokis there.
Yes. Which, by the way, how can they just shove these multiple variants into a place and not have it have any meaning over any of the time space?
Right. That's the question. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I would presume that there must be a timeline that is like kept as a prison, sort of.
Like apocalypse type timeline?
Yeah, where it's like, okay, we have a problem, we'll shove it under the rug that is the apocalypse timeline, and we'll just let it all sort itself out in Hellfire.
Yes. There we go. That being said, I don't really think we will get a necessary normal Marvel versus the bad guy scene where the hero beats up the bad guy.
I would agree. I think that that's likely to come with the upcoming films, where we're going to see the cascading effects of these actions in Spider-Man,
Yeah.
No Way Home, and then we might see some sort of conclusion or midpoint at the very least with Multiverse of Madness and Doctor Strange.
Well, I was thinking there's still a Loki season 2 that's been confirmed
That's also true. Yep.
where we could lay down the foundation for a lot of the plot lines there. Like, say, Sylvie gets lost in time and Loki has to go time hopping all over the universe to try and find her.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Thor: Love and Thunder. Wink.
It's true.
They have so many avenues they could take this down. It's kind of impossible to track.
They really do. I would be very the one thing that I hope they don't do now that they're starting to experiment with like multiverse things, I hope they don't bring characters back, if that makes sense.
I really doubt it, but I do get
Particularly
what you
Iron
mean.
Man and Captain America.
Yeah,
I don't want them to just be like, "Oh yeah, those are really popular characters we just killed off." Never mind. It would be really cool if they used it as a way to lean into the other versions of those characters in a way that makes sense in universe. So like we know that there are like multiple different Thors and Iron Mans and Captains America that are like notably what's the name you're telling me about the one Iron pseudo Iron Man character that's sort of like a protege or like a young prodigy of
Oh, Ironheart?
Stark's work. Yeah,
I mean, she's
would
already
be a
confirmed to get a
perfect
scene.
way
Yeah,
to bring her character into it in a way that would make sense that wouldn't piss a bunch of people off.
I
Because
agree.
it's like, oh no, it's not the Iron Man replacement, it's another dimension's Iron Man. And she's in our dimension now to help out with whatever.
With whatever.
It just, helps fill the gaps. I think
Yeah,
it'd be a cool way of doing it.
I agree. I don't know. There's so much they can do. Do you have any ideas?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have some theories about who's this whole master timekeeper, but
The only not really. Not definitively. The only things that I can figure is that it must either be the dudes that made the Infinity Stones, like way back at like the beginning of the universe, or something kind of anticlimactic, like, oh my god, Doctor Strange is evil now. Oh no.
oh hell no, don't do that to me.
But I
Um,
don't think that's going to be the case, or else he wouldn't get his own movie.
no, this is kind of a popular theory going around, and I like it.
Yeah.
There is a villain called King the Conqueror. Okay,
Okay.
his whole shtick is he's a time traveler who
Okay.
is basically setting up the past to be like his chessboard for when he's born, so he can take over the world.
Mhm.
So, I like the idea that maybe the TVA has been an extension of him setting up a master timeline that pretty much sets everything up for him to take over the world when he's eventually born.
Sure.
Now, another cool thing about King the Conqueror, right?
Mhm.
He is a descendant of a character that's going to become very important to the MCU, mainly Reed
Okay.
Richards. He's also
Reed
confirmed to be the
Richards.
villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3.
I was gonna say I was looking it up and he was listed as that.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't mind it if this is like setting him up overall for like being just kind of this interim villain for whatever we're setting up in the future.
Hmm.
Because I kind of
What
also,
if?
yes, go on.
What if it's just straight up Galactus?
Oh God, no, please, no. We're not ready for him yet.
You know how many people would be pissed off by that?
I'm pissed off just at the thought of that.
Uh, I would laugh so much. That'd be hilarious.
No, it was Mephisto all along. No, it was Agatha all along. I'm just
That'd be
saying,
funny.
I would love it if they set up this whole mystery with Loki where Kang is
Yeah.
obviously a problem that's going to happen. So now they have to like preemptively find some way to get rid of Kang, and the only
Hmm.
way they can do that is to find his nearest relative, which is Reed Richards, who is going to be a problem unto himself.
Oh. I okay, so I don't think Kang would be like the villain behind the TVA.
Fair enough.
I could totally see them doing a post-credit scene after episode 6 that is like the TVA has been defeated and is dissolved, and then like it ends with like a cut to like the big uh timeline board,
Yeah.
and there's just like a little blip that comes off of it, and it gives some hint towards that. I could see something like that for sure, but I feel like that would be a bit anticlimactic if it was like he is the villain for this, if he's already going to be in a future film. I feel like it has to be something we haven't seen yet, or a character that's been referenced but not shown.
You know what? Be kind of hilarious.
What's that?
So
It's the dog. Oh no, wait, go ahead.
we have to assume Galactus is coming to the MCU, right?
Presumably at some point.
Yeah. So that means that the TVA would have had to deal with Galactus if he ate the wrong planet one day or something like that.
Yeah,
Do you see my problem with that?
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Although, presumably, I could see it working in that a character like Galactus or Thanos, for that matter, might be such a singular will that they are very unlikely to stray from their path.
that's fair enough.
Or there are other ways that they could influence that character's life to put them in the right direction.
Good idea. Another thing I want to point out is when I make a lot of my Marvel theories, it's because I have a 95% correct guess of knowing where they're going for their next Infinity War, next big storyline that they're setting up.
Mm-hmm.
And all of my theorizing goes towards serving that purpose, so I'm incredibly biased.
Fair enough.
Yes.
So speaking of, we have, in addition to Loki stuff, our first real Marvel movie release in like a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, Spider-Man's finally out?
No, Black Widow, the other Spider-Man, Spider-Woman.
Oh, you mean the black Spider-Man, right? This one?
Yeah, no, no, Sony still owns him.
Oh, okay. By the way, that's another suit that's been leaked for No Way Home.
Yeah, well, I
We
don't doubt it. If they're doing multiverse shit, doors are wide open.
yeah. No Way Home suits got leaked to everybody. I think one of them looks cool, the other looks bad.
Hmm.
Can you guess which one I don't like?
I don't know what the other one is, but that looks pretty cool, so I assume it's not that.
It's the one I showed earlier this week on the July 1st.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. It's pretty similar to the Endgame suit.
Yeah.
He's just got some glovey bits.
Lovey bits. One is
But we have,
yeah, go on. Black
I would say
Widow.
we have the story for Black Widow.
Go on.
So we know that it's not like important for anything, for lack of a better word.
Ouch.
It's unfortunately the way it is. This is seemingly what Black Widow did between the events of Civil War, between the end of Civil War and the start of Infinity War. So apparently during that time, she went back to confront the darker parts of her ledger. That's how they have it in their movie info bit here on Rotten Tomatoes. The idea is that she's going back and dealing with her past, as well as some characters that are apparently important to that past.
Damn.
So it sounds like it's from the early reviews, it's fine. It's not like particularly impactful because there's only so much they can do, but for what it is, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of impossible. Like, COVID has kind of put a lot of expectation on this movie, which is kind of sad.
Yep.
It is supposed to be this big grand return to Marvel. And I mean, the TV shows kind of like supplement that a little bit more. But I mean, like, we're back to the cinematic aspects of it. Like the TV shows can
Hmm.
get away with a lot more because they're TV shows, but this is what we most of us know these franchises as.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the name of the character? I can't remember. We know who the main villains are in Black Widow now.
Oh yeah,
They've been
Taskmaster.
confirmed. Taskmaster, yes.
Yes. I like
There's apparently
Taskmaster.
someone else. But yeah, I don't really know Taskmaster that much. From what I heard, his role got a bit less impactful than his role in other pieces. Some people were kind of disappointed by it, but it seems fine. Seems
Hmm.
perfectly adequate.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I really don't have much. I don't know if I'm going to go see this in the theaters.
I
May
feel like I probably will, just because for some fucking reason it's $30 on Disney Plus.
That's the thing. My girlfriend kind of would rather we just wait to see this, but I know she desperately wants to go see it in the theaters as well.
Like, I'm thankfully in the position with my job, with the schedule I work, that I can easily catch like a midday matinee showing, which would be like $7.
That must be nice.
So I'm inclined to just do that.
And my job is no longer letting us have days off, like request days off at the
Oh,
moment.
that's terrible. No, I don't get days off. I just work weekends.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm a
But
little jelly.
yeah, it's pros and cons.
Yeah,
It's,
very true.
it does work out well in certain circumstances.
Oh, in fact, if everybody wants to know how bad it is in the grocery store game right now, um, after this show, I have to go directly to work because they told me as soon as possible I can clock in. That's
Jeez.
yeah,
Go
it's bad.
directly to work. Do not cross go.
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, I'm getting 50 hours this week, so suck it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good.
We also have Fast 9. Sorry, F9, the Fast Saga.
You know what? I
God.
absolutely love the memes of this movie has spawned.
Oh yeah. I'm glad it's making memes, so there's at least one thing that's productive to come out of it.
Yes,
Family.
family.
I'll definitely see this when it's available to stream for free and not a second earlier. But it just looks so dumb.
It really does look bad.
They go into fucking space.
Are you implying that's not the highlight?
I don't think it is. I think that's like the rising action still.
Oh my god. How do you beat space?
I don't know. But they try to.
Do they race on Jupiter's rings?
No, unfortunately.
Wouldn't that be cool?
They're getting there. Just gotta shoot Dom's kid in a fucking rocket and they'll go.
I'm just saying these movies need to start embracing their stupidity a little bit more to grab my attention.
From what I've heard with the space type of stuff, they kind of have.
Yeah,
They know how dumb it is now.
what they need to do is have a crossover with Transformers and Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. How are the people coming back for this?
I don't know. It's literally the only thing in theaters. I think that's the answer.
Damn.
There's also probably been so long that people don't have a reference for what the hell's good anymore. Did they bring back the dead guy?
No.
What?
What did they?
It looks he's in the movie poster. I don't remember his name. He was some Han. Han's fucking dead. What? He died in Tokyo Drift. What is this bullshit?
I have a theory. You remember
All
in
right, what's up?
Superman 1 where he like goes
Okay,
on
well, actually, who hasn't been brought back in this fucking franchise yet? Like, legitimately, 3/7 of the cast in this film on the poster, at least 3/7, have been dead at some point.
Oh jeez.
What were you gonna say?
So you remember in Superman 1 when he flies around the planet to reverse time to save Lois Lane?
Yeah.
I believe the reason they go to space in this one is so they can drive their car so fast around the planet that it reverses time to bring him back.
No. I mean, I'm not. So I should say I'm not really against it because I did really like his character. I thought of looking at like the original Fast and Furious cast once you get to like Fast Four and they have it sort of established. Between all of them, he actually seemed to have the most depth. You know.
Yeah, I have
So
not
I'm
seen
not
this.
against it. I just hope it makes sense,
I have not
and
seen a
I'm
single Fast
concerned
and
it
Furious.
won't. Really? Okay,
Yeah,
you should at least watch the first one.
really.
There's a reason it's got 9 movies because the first one is not at all like what it is now. It's like a serious street racing crime drama type movie, and it's actually pretty good. It's very dated, but it's very good at this point.
I sent a
Yeah.
Fast Nine
Have you
meme.
seen this the Sephiroth one?
No, but go on. That sounds amazing.
Let me see if I can find this. Images. This should pop right up. Yeah, here we go. It's literally the first one. Good job, Google. You get a cookie today.
They always get your cookies. Oh my god. It's so good.
It's dumb.
I
It's
love it.
so dumb.
It's
It is pretty great
poetry.
though.
Blank is strong, but not as strong as family.
But yeah, I don't. Not watching. Okay.
Shots are
Shit me.
fired.
0 out of 10.
I sent a meme saying not watching One Piece because it's too long, shaking hands with being a bitch. I guess we're both the same.
Defamation.
Not defamation, it's libel, good sir.
No, you just said it. Get wrecked.
Oh shit, that's slander then.
Whatever.
The meme is libel, what I said was
Blue Mall,
slander.
and we're gonna see what sticks.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like the Fast and Furious series has definitely leaned into its more ridiculous stuff at this point, and I get it. It's probably a lot easier to do, like conceptually, than making like a serious, well-written movie.
Yeah,
And it still puts seats in theaters, so
it keeps people
who's to say
employed.
otherwise? Right. What's its box office? Is it already its money? I'm curious.
Fast 10, where they reunite China as under one singular country.
Just gonna go. Yeah, it's already past 500 million. It's easily blown past its budget.
Oh my god.
Here, so let's just confirm this budget. Yeah, 200 to 220 million. So it's well past its budget. I don't know. I I would definitely recommend watching at least the first one. The Fast and the Furious is it's good. There's no other way to put it. It's good.
It's good.
Yep. It's 20 years old now though. So like the whole point of it is that Dom's gang is stealing like VCRs because that's the thing in technology. So there's some dated plot points.
What's a VCR?
Yeah, exactly. It's 20 years ago, man. It's old.
That is old. Now, you know what they need to do? Soft reboot it. And now they're stealing Nvidia graphics card to mine Bitcoin.
Without Paul Walker, I feel like you really can't. Now that he died, it would be in bad taste.
I'm just saying, if Hollywood wants to hit me up, I will write them a really bad, modernized Fast and Furious reboot.
Uh, have you seen any of like the side pieces for Fast and Furious stuff?
Nope.
Like Hobbs and Shaw?
Nope.
Right. It's wild. I wouldn't call it good, but it's wild.
I'm scared now.
I mean, none of them are any worse than any other sort of like Transformers type stuff, you know?
Okay.
I would say even the worst of Fast and the Furious is better than the later Transformers movies.
Good point.
Because the later Transformers movies got really dumb.
I would say Transformers at the very beginning was very dumb.
Like the first one was fine. It was maybe a little bit dumb, but it was, it worked for what it was.
True.
But yeah, it's whatever. What else do we have? I think that's kind of like it for movies. It's still kind of quiet while things are getting spun back up.
I was about to say those are summer blockbusters.
Yeah. Top Gun Maverick, apparently. That's still happening. November. Yeah. I don't know why that's on the box offices right now. Everything else is just doing so bad that a movie that hasn't even come out yet is up there. There we go. We have gotten a bit more information about the Ten Rings.
Oh yeah, they dropped the trailer for that.
Shang-Chi. Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool trailer.
I loved it.
Now that we have the tiniest idea what the hell's going to happen, seems good.
Yeah.
It's not, it's its own thing. I'm glad for that. I was worried it would be too similar to things in the past, and they've clearly managed to avoid that.
Did you notice Wong from Doctor Strange fighting the Abomination from Incredible Hulk?
I did not.
That was at the end of the trailer
Let me see here.
when they're in the
Why
cage.
is this on? Okay, let's go to YouTube. Let me see this. I'm gonna do some sleuthing.
Sleuth, 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 sleuthing.
Marvel Entertainment. But I like the ideas that they have for it, at least.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, you're right. Totally is. Neat.
Yeah, it's literally just
I I guess it does make sense given that the visual language of it are kind of rooted in similar cultures that they would try to tie the two of them together in some way so it looks less like one's a copy of the other and more a continuation. If that makes sense.
you're referring to Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah, well
More the order behind Doctor Strange are they're culturally rooted in the same philosophies and visuals.
well, fun fact, in the comics Doctor Strange's teacher was Taiwanese.
Mm,
Do you see the problem with that and why they had to change it to Tibetan?
no, not
Taiwan
Tibetan.
is not a country according to China.
Well, yeah, but neither's Tibet according to China.
Fair enough, but they're more protective over Taiwan apparently.
No, I got you. They definitely are.
Yeah.
That's kind of shitty, but not too surprising.
Yeah, but hey, um if Wong is in a cage match with Abomination and Doctor Strange wasn't fucking shit up in WandaVision, where the fuck is Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Multiverse of Madness.
And somehow he shows up in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They also
Hey, Spider Guy, you need some help getting your ass kicked. Everyone else is doing fine. What the hell is your problem?
I literally gave up saving a whole town from a magical psychopath for this, Peter. Did you see the Funko Pops for that dropped?
For WandaVision?
No, for No Way Home.
I don't know.
Yeah, and
I
interestingly
don't
enough,
really care about Funko Pops, so I hadn't heard.
there's two Funko Pops that I have interest in.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean they just straight up got the spider suit there.
Yeah,
Oh, and Doctor Strange. Interesting.
and he's got a shovel for whatever
So
reason.
he has not just a shovel; he has a snow shovel.
Yes,
That's very specific.
I want to know why he's also in a lot of snow gear and snow boots.
Yeah, he is. He's got like a little blue jacket on. That's adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. I just want to know what's going on in this man's life.
Yeah.
What are they doing to my man's? I mean, I know the whole film is supposed to be set during winter, so
Yeah. I did want to say, in rewatching, I enjoy the way that Loki is able to do that with his magic of just like, I'm dry now,
oh yeah.
and everyone else is still soaking wet. It's very amusing.
I'm almost certain they stole that from Scott Pilgrim.
Probably.
There is a scene in the comics where that joke is pretty much made.
Interesting. I'm looking at the Spider-Man Funko Pop now, and he's clearly got some shit on his chest.
Like magic
That's
shit.
different. Magic shit. Some strange shit, you could say. Oh
Sounds
my
like
god.
he's in for a strange adventure.
But there's clearly some other shit going on with this. It's weird.
What I am so weirded out by is everything from this movie that's come out with these leaked merchandise items, which are
Yeah.
obviously real,
Oh yeah.
goes against everything these supposed leakers have brought up about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being in the movie.
I wouldn't say that yet. If we're getting a sort of like broad multiverse kind of thing going on here, they could I would be more inclined to see them do something like that as a cameo, like
Yeah,
they've done with Marvel IPs in the past, than its own thing.
fair enough.
So we'll have to wait and see.
Also, everybody keeps talking about wanting Tobey Maguire for this new Spider-Man movie. I, on the other hand, have a better idea.
Oh yeah.
Tobey Maguire in the Multiverse of Madness as an alternate universe Spider-Man.
Eh.
It's both Sam
How
Raimi
old
movies.
is he?
Search your
He's
feelings.
46 now.
I know, it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Like, is he? He's older than Benedict Cumberbatch.
Is he?
He is. Benedict Cumberbatch is 44.
That doesn't seem right.
I know, but it is.
I don't know how I feel
Like,
about that.
I, yeah, I don't know.
Let's
I
see.
could totally see them bringing more of the like references to the other Spider-Mans in, and I can even see them bringing in one of the characters to be in more of a prominent role, like the Doc Ock stuff. But I'd be very surprised if they go all in with something like that,
Fair enough. Did,
plot-wise, at least.
yeah. Fun fact: Tobey Maguire enjoys playing chess.
Oh boy.
I know. He also enjoys yoga and cooking.
Mm,
He was voted the world's sexiest vegetarian by PETA in 2002.
interesting.
Um, yeah, I'm pretty much just going through his IMDb page right now. Close friend of Leonardo DiCaprio.
I suppose I could see that.
Uh, clo- uh, was considered for the role of Will Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean. Think about how different that would have been.
Would have been weird.
I don't think I would have liked it as much.
He was definitely a hot commodity at the time, but I'm glad they didn't do that.
Yeah. Apparently, though, you remember in Spider-Man 2 when those two little boys give Peter the mask in the train?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were his half brothers.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Despite playing Spider-Man, he has a fear of heights. And this has been Fun Facts about Tobey Maguire. And join us next time when we have, I don't know, Andrew Garfield, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We got anything else for today?
Yeah, pretty sure there's a few other things. Um, we have the US that has basically left Afghanistan entirely.
Finally?
Yeah.
No way.
Afghanistan hasn't, it's more been Iran and Iraq that's been the more controversial presences for the US. Afghanistan was where the Taliban, I believe, were primarily out of, and now that the U.S. is leaving, they are moving in their wake. Uh, Like, who would have guessed? But yeah, the U.S. has basically apparently entirely evacuated the Bagram airbase.
Holy shit.
So yeah,
I don't know how I feel about this.
yeah, it's definitely conflicting because you know you don't want your lack of a presence to lead to worse conditions. At the same time, you know, people need to kind of fight. You can't have a foreign country fight all of your battles on your own. One of the big things that I've heard that is a huge important change from past U.S. leaves from foreign nations is that there's apparently a program that's being put in place to help the translators that worked with the U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan to get expedited, um, like asylum, basically, to the U.S. Because if they're still around and people know they worked as translators for the U.S., they're basically good as dead. That's something that's happened a lot in other nations. Is that the U.S. pulls out the translators because they're not U.S. citizens are stuck in those countries, and they inevitably get hunted down and killed, or their families do.
Yeah, I do see the huge risk with that.
So it seems like they have taken steps to improve on that.
Good on us. Oh, we had America Day happen the other day as well.
Yeah, we did. It was it's fourth.
Yeah.
There's some good memes that came out of it. But have you seen? Let me see if I can pull it up here. This was on Twitter. Somebody was sharing a fireworks display a few years back in San Diego, where
Everything went off at once.
all of them went off at once. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty good. It
that
was
was
amusing
dank.
for
That's
sure.
my favorite thing to see every year.
Hmm.
We also had the 1 year anniversary of us doing this as a podcast again.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we missed it.
Good show on us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know if you've seen this. I follow a few sports people, mostly Matt Shear, on Twitter.
Go
Um,
on. He's an excellent source of sports journalism, everybody. Go follow Matt Shear.
he's actually pretty solid.
No,
He's a
he's
good
really
guy.
good. Yeah, he's a good friend.
But there's been video coming around from what game was this? A game that happened between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays. I don't remember whether from Toronto, where the Rays were down 10-1 in the eighth. So they put one of their outfielders on the mound to pitch. Good. This is his like pitching debut. He's not a pitcher at all.
Oh,
And it was
God.
hilarious because he sucked so bad. And he took it all with a smile because he knew that they were putting him out just so that their actual pitchers wouldn't risk getting hurt by pitching that late into the game. So he went out there and he just ate it up. He
Good.
just fucked around for 2 innings and made took a bad game and made it entertaining at least.
What a Chad.
Yeah. He had this like just I'll copy this here. You can watch it. It's a few minutes long when you want, but it's great. It's just him fucking around on the mound for like 2.5 minutes, with this stupid fucking windup that he has. I have no idea why, but uh, he took it like a champ. Where was it? He responded to someone who tweeted a shorter clip of him getting a balk on the mound, and he responded to it with just pitching is way harder than it looks. Just great.
What a Chad.
Great way of taking a shitty situation and making it good.
I respect people like him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what else? That's pretty much it. That's all I have, at least. I thought that was pretty good. I'm sure there's other stuff, but I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. I mean, what is there to even talk about? News has been so slow lately.
I I'm sure I could find plenty to go with, but I'd rather keep it on a positive news.
Why? It's only the year of our Lord 2021. It's not like we had a whole year of bad news or anything like that.
Yeah.
Does it ever weird you out that we just basically wasted a whole year of our life to a pandemic?
Oh yeah. No, it's something.
I often forget last year even happened.
It's pretty wild. I found a new YouTube channel I've been following.
What's that?
Um, called Lost in the Pond. It's a British expatriate living in the US now, talking about cultural differences between his time living, he was born and grew up in the UK compared to cultural in America.
Yeah,
It's interesting. It's a mostly a positive spin on it with just like interest pieces, but it's very interesting. Lost in the Pond on YouTube.
shout out.
I find that it's just fun stuff.
Did you see Ordinary Things video on the Great Firewall of China?
I saw it in my feed. I have not watched it.
I highly
I need to
recommend
watch
it.
more Ordinary Things.
He is
I don't
such
watch
a good
enough of his
channel.
stuff.
You know what's also a good channel?
What's that?
The Two Schmoes Show.
It is.
It's high quality improvised content that's quite informative and fun.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know how 46 people can watch one video of them and not watch another.
For real. Are we that bad? No, we're not. It can't be us. The children must be wrong.
The children are always wrong. Let's see. I want to see how far that Loki video's gotten. 47 views right now.
47. Another one.
Another one. It is our highest video in total views.
Nice.
I know.
It was a good thumbnail. It was effective. It's like honestly half of the YouTube game is just having something that looks interesting, even if it's actually not.
I do have a theory the YouTube algorithm looks for open mouths, and that's what it recommends to people.
That could be.
Because so far, that's the only one with like a giant open mouth on all of our things, besides maybe the Easter episode, where that's just like the Easter bunny mouth being open.
That would be interesting if it was true.
You know what? Next time, I'm just going to make a giant mouth open as our thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to try it.
Sure. Why not?
Why not? I hope people watch this episode first before the next week's episode for context. In the meantime, though, is this the end of the show?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the infamous Orion, and I've been a Schmo.
I'm Cairo, and I've been Schmo.
And I eagerly await your Lokis.